Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Vocast. I'm your host, Drew. We'll be doing another reaction and analysis today. It's not going to be a first time reaction, but I've heard this song already, so we're going to be covering Geoff Castellucci's version of Ghost Riders in the Sky, with the original being by Stan Jones and a cover being made by Johnny Cash. This one's a bit of a bear, but we all know that Geoff pushes the creative boundaries and he's always crushing it. So we're gonna move on to a disclaimer, a brief explanation of how the video will work, and then we'll dive right in. Full disclaimer, I'm not a musical genius in any way, shape, or form. I'm simply sharing my musical insight and knowledge with you so that way we can get a better understanding of and appreciation for the music that's covered on this channel. Now, a couple of quick pieces and then we'll dive in. We have recently started doing another format for these videos. We started doing the reaction portion where I don't pause at all, run all the way through, and then will be a brief pause, and then the second portion will kick in where the analysis and breakdown portion of the video will take place. This format seems to be working really well, so this will continue as long as people like it. So with that said, let's get our hands dirty and dive right into Geoff Castellucci's version of Ghost Riders in the Sky. All right, folks. Diving in just a second. I just wanted to say, yes, I know it is almost Christmas, but I wanted to do one song that was not Christmassy in the holiday season for those that do not celebrate, or just anyone that's looking for a bit of a break from holiday or Christmas music. So, with that said, we're jumping in, folks. Make sure I'm still recording, because I've been having some issues lately. Yep, we're good. And here we go. First time reaction, not stopping, and then we'll have a break and we'll have the analysis. Like I said, this is not a first time reaction. I've heard this before. And no
blowing riding out one dark and windy day. Upon the ridge he rested as he went along his way. When all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw plowing through the ragged skies and up the cloudy draw.
Such a nice bass home.
Their brains were still on fire and their hooves were made of steel.
That resonant D2.
Black and shiny and their hot breath he could feel. Yeah. A bolt of fear went through him as they thundered through the sky, for he saw the riders coming hard and he heard their mournful cry.
That's a really nice A1 in chest there.
Their faces gaunt, their eyes were blurred, their shirts all soaked with sweat. He's riding hard to catch that herd, but he ain't caught them yet, no.
We'll have to talk about that cadence / chord shortly. That one too. Geoff is something else, man.
Change your ways today, or with us you will ride, trying to catch the devil's herd across these.
That G1 though, guys, it's crazy. You can't help but to head bob with this. He has such a punchy G1. It's just a perfect example why I call him G1 Geoff. This is just a genius piece, guys. It's so cool. It pays homage to the old one from Stan Jones in 1948 when this one was released, and it's so good. Alright, so we've got a lot to talk about, so we're going to transition from this reaction portion here into the analysis portion. So I'll give a few seconds and then I'll meet you over in the analysis. Alright folks, I've got my piano ready to go. So we will jump into the analysis portion. We've got it down to the beginning, ready to go. So let's do some analyzing and breaking down. So the whip effect here, that was really cool little thing to pay tribute to the original being a Western country song.
An old cowboy went riding out one dark and windy day. Upon the ridge he rested as he went along his way. When all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed
I'll stop in a second.
he saw plowing through the ragged skies and up the cloudy draw.
So, something about Geoff's technique in the in this video or in this song is that he's got a he's doing a very legato style singing here, and to me, I like it. I don't know. Sometimes legato can be very dangerous to play with because legato can sound bad if it's not done right. But I mean, we all know Geoff is very talented, so he's doing this very well, very tastefully. So this mechanism that he's using for singing in this first little section it's fairly light effort. He's got a little excuse me, I'm still getting over the cold. He's still got pretty light mechanisms, fairly light effort. It's got a little weight behind it, but it's not like he's trying too hard. And it's good because he can kind of, you know, bounce around a little bit without really focusing on any one thing. And he's just focusing on having a good tone, having a good sound, singing the words, no issues here. When I say legato, I'm talking about like long and connected. So I'll show you what I mean with the first line here. And you'll see how he kind of sort of drags the words into each other.
An old cowboy went riding out one dark and windy day.
So you hear how they're all pretty much connected and there's basically no break between them. That's more of like a legato style. And there was only enough room in that break for him to breathe. And he's not taking a break. He's not like taking a break for music or just musical break. He's taking just enough of a break to breathe. And he's continuing on with the legato style.
On the ridge he rested as he went along his way. When all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw plowing through the ragged sky.
He's got a beautiful baritone-esque range in his higher range, I should say. He's got very, very pretty third octave and lower fourth octave notes for sure. He's obviously a low bass, but we know that he's a low bass, but he's got a very nice baritone range as well. So it sounds really good. So like I said, his mechanism is very light, and he's not trying too hard, and fits.
And up the cloudy draw.
A1 in chest there. That, let me transpose. this note here, that note in chest, but he's not got a ton of higher partials in it. And what I mean by higher partials is the top end of the note where it almost sounds rattly. That sound comes from whenever you have close to or full vocal fold closure when you're singing a note that sounds like it's rattling a little bit that low. He can clearly sing an A1 in chest, very resonant, and it would sound pretty monstrous. So again, that note, but he's singing that in more of a breathy tone, so it's more like. I mean, I'm not gonna try it because my aggressive sucks right now. My voice is gassed, but it's like it's a short, quiet A1, and then he goes back to that B1. So beautiful tone. He's doing it because it's the beginning of the song, and you don't want to just slam a low note like that with super good resonance. Otherwise, it'll feel out of place. So he's got some good control here with his arranging as well as you know, it's good control. And the cool thing about having a breathy tone whenever you're doing your low notes like that is because you lay it out and it makes it sound like you're not pushing as hard for it. So you just kind of sing it like whoa. It makes it feel more natural in a sense. So um, with breathy notes like that, it's kind of the way the breathier notes work is that you're not actually getting full vocal fold closure because that breathy sound is coming from air escaping. And whenever you have more higher partials, more resonance is when you're getting almost or complete full vocal fold closure, and that's what creates that almost rattle like sound. That means basically no air is escaping, but he's intentionally doing that in this section. So
Their brains were still on fire and their hooves were made of steel.
now that D2 that he just did has more resonance. But he carried a little bit of resonance in there to give it a little bit of musical contrast. So this is really nice. He's got his low bass voice, the fact that he can go way down to a or G flat F sharp 1 in chest, and it just further proves the fact that he's a low bass, because if you hear the tonal quality of his D2 here, you hear how resonant it is. It feels very rattly. It feels like it's rattling a little bit. You can tell if it wasn't obvious that he's a low bass by the quality of that D2 and the A1 and B1s that he can hit, then it would be difficult for anybody to figure out what kind of voice he is if you couldn't figure that out. So
Their horns are black and shiny and their hot breath he could feel. Yeah. A bolt of
the background harmonies are making it easier for him to do his song here. Well, duh. What I meant to say is the background harmonies here are really cool, and I'd love to stop and evaluate them, but I don't have time to. So they're really nice. So
fear went through him as they thundered through the sky, for he saw the riders.
those that want to listen for higher partials and see what I'm talking about, you can listen to like in his second octave range right here. So that way when he's not completely slamming the low notes, but like if he's more carrying a lead part, he'll be in the second and third octaves. But you'll hear the higher partials and you'll hear it almost rattling as he's singing. So I won't stop and show you every single piece, but I'll try to point it out to you as we're rolling through here.
Coming hard, and he heard their mournful cry.
Yep. So he likes to start off some of his lines and words with a little bit of chest fry into his chest voice. So for those that don't know, chest fry is a place in your voice, or it's an extended technique that you can use with your voice. So have you ever seen? I'm not sure if anyone has ever seen the movie like The Ring or anything, but like I don't even know if it's that movie, but it's where you create a sound effect where you're basically making your vocal folds pop. So it sounds like this. Yeah, that's a chest fry, or that's fry. And I'm doing it at the end of my words, so that way you can get a better idea of kind of what it sounds like. So a lot of people, like especially even bass singers, whenever they're doing music, sometimes they'll lean their music in with a touch of fry, and they'll move chest fry into full chest voice, and it's a cool little unique twist to do your music with.
Ghost Riders.
More resonance here. That A1 there is kind of thick. Nice. What? Someone's doing, or Jeff, one of his Jeffs in the background is doing a G here. No, here. Ah, that's cool. I think that was a guitar effect in the background. That's that's a B. That's a B1 to C, or that's a B3 to C4. Yeah. But that's more like an edited effect, so he intended for it to be that way. So, but it's not like an actual guitar doing that riff, but it's the guitar playing the two separate notes, and then the two separate notes are kind of meshed together by the software that he used. So, and it's used to create that effect intentionally.
Their faces gaunt, their eyes were blurred, their shirts all soaked with sweat.
And Jeff also is known really. I can't talk today. It's a tradition in my videos. Jeff is known for being able to put a little bit of drive in his arrangements. So whenever he's doing his own music or he's doing voice play music, he tends to add something that will give it a little bit of drive. Like for instance, that you're hearing the background with this kick drum here go, and it's a very subtle effect, and most of the time people don't really like draw attention to it because it's just so simple. And yes, for sure it is simple, but it's still it's still profound in the music context, in the sense that it changes it up just a little bit, but it also gives it drive, like I was saying earlier. So it makes it feel like the piece is moving. You know, it gives you something else to bob your head along to. So.
He's riding hard to catch that herd, but he ain't caught him yet, no.
So that chord, it would take me a long time to try to break it down, but there's a lot of chords that grind in this. I mean, I'm sorry, there's a lot of notes that grind within this chord he just sang with all these background Jeffs here. And for those that don't know, Jeff's there's three common mispronunciations or misspellings of his name, and those have been the three other versions of himself whenever he's doing 3 or 4 versions of himself whenever he's doing his own arrangements are lovingly referred to as Goff, Geoff, and Jeff. So I thought that was really cool, and I think there's another one in there that I'm missing, but typically these guys on the screen is Goff, Jeff, Geoff, and whatever the other one's name is, so that's kind of funny. But we'll back up 5 seconds and we'll move on.
Hard to catch that herd, but he ain't caught him yet, no.
That chord is very funky, and it initially, without the added pitches that don't belong within the context of the chord itself, the triad of the chord is already like it belongs within the key that Jeff is singing in. But with that chord he's singing in, he added like several pitches that don't necessarily go within the triad of the chord, so there's a lot of crunchiness to it. So we'll listen to it again and we'll move on and just try to really like listen for it. You'll hear how crunchy it sounds a little bit, but after that it'll kind of like it leads into another section of the song and it creates this really cool little effect. It makes you want to listen that little bit more. You're like, ooh, crunchy, that's kind of cool, and then you want to continue to listen. So
To catch that herd, but he ain't caught him yet, no. They've got to ride forever on that range up in the...
And I'm telling you, Jeff has got a pretty solid high range for a low bass too. So I mean, he's in the background with his background vocals. He's literally up in in the fourth octave with his highest part, and he's in the third. He's got like a two fourth octave parts, like a third octave part. He's got like two third octave and two fourth octave parts, and it's not that often you find a low bass singer that can sing in the fourth octave this with that good of a tone and it sound that good. But we all know how talented Geoff is, so it's crazy how high he can sing plus how low he can sing. It's crazy. There's a D4 in there. So he's singing a D4 and he's also singing a G4. I'm gonna double check on the G4, but I know I'm hearing a D4. I think I might be hearing like a G flat F sharp 4 somewhere maybe too, but we'll move on. That's a really cool bass slide too. He's going slides from a B2 to a B1, and it's just people love bass slides because it's just you're like, whoa, he's got a low voice, and yes, he does. But it's just the effect of a bass slide is just like no other. It's almost like the effect of a slide on a trombone. It's just it can't be replicated because it's so cool. I mean, you can do a slide or a down in any other voice type, but it's just not as cool. And when bass singers like Geoff do it, that's why it's so cool. So I mean, plus, I mean, B1 for Geoff, a B1, this note here, that note in itself is not inherently low for Geoff. It is a low note, but it isn't low for him because he's got this every single day. He could scream his lungs out all day long, and he would still most likely have a B1 in chest, resonant too, at the end of the day. So that note is low in the context of bass singing, but it's not crazy low. So he went from this note here, B2, to this B1 here. So I can't really like slide down on my piano to show you, but it's just a cool effect. And he slid past that B1 there, so I want to see where he stopped on this low note, so we'll move on. He bottomed out right around a G or so, G1. Crazy. Guys, that whistle is so well timed and it's very tasteful. Musical contrast, and it just belongs within the piece because it's an old Western style country song, and it's telling the story of about a cowboy who sees all of these ghostly riders in the sky, and it's the chef's kiss to this arrangement with that whistle in there. And there's no other whistling in this entire arrangement. So you get a small taste of it, but it's well placed, well timed, and it belongs within the piece because of the style, Western country. So it's really cool. A hidden A1 in chest in the background somewhere. I want to try to see if I can show y'all, but this one's like hidden away because it's a background part I meant. If you want to save your soul from hell right now, these harmonies are crazy. Try to pause the video and just listen to some of these after you've heard the song all the way through. Just take some time to truly listen to the background harmonies. I would love to stop and evaluate them, but I'd run out of time. That G1 that he does is just monstrous, guys. Right, trying to get the devil's herd. I mean, he goes from that G1 to the D2. That's just G1 Geoff, folks. That's all that needs to be said.
We'll ride, trying to catch the devil's herd across these endless skies.
He did a slide down from that B1 to like an A or somewhere like that. That was also really cool. His high range here. He did a really cool walk down from that G that he just sang up here. No, he sang to that D4 again. Another A1 in chest here. That's just stupid thick. That G1 is so stupid thick, it's crazy. I mean, it sounds pretty much like the piano. It's just monstrously good. The horse riding in the background, that was really cool. The hat tip, that was really cool. Ah, man, so that's a good one. So, thanks for tuning in to the Vocast and my reaction to and breakdown of Geoff Castellucci's cover of Ghost Riders in the Sky. He never ceases to amaze us, and we know that, so I'm going to bring this video to a close. If you liked it and you're enjoying the channel, you're enjoying the content that I'm bringing, you're also getting musical enjoyment as well as knowledge from these reactions and analyses, do me a huge favor, throw me a like, drop a comment, throw me a subscription if you haven't already. If you're watching and you're not subscribed, we would love to have you. We've got some super, super exciting things coming soon. Also, I just recently did a podcast with Peter Barber, crazy talented opera bass singer. You really, really need to check that podcast out if you've got the patience to do so. It's about an hour, 45 minutes long, so give it a check out, guys. As always, this has been Drew on the Vocast. Love you. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you later. Bye.